So the second exercise is something I call the question circle. And I asked Parmjit before we started the recording to come up with a question to start off the question circle. So the circle is going to begin with you, Parmjit, and it's going to end with you. So did you want to go with that question that we were kind of thinking about earlier? What do we do about it? Or what do we do? What do we do?
I think that question is kind of, I'm carrying that round with me.
Okay.
Time. Yeah, it's how do we find a starting point where things will then be able to develop into some kind of a infrastructure and process.
Okay. So how do we find the starting point to establish infrastructure? Okay. Okay, great. So now you can ask anybody in this circle that question. And there's no time limit on the answer. So go ahead and ask either myself, Nefertiti, or Marta that question, and just come up with the answer off the top of your head. Make it up. Okay. So Parmjit, who would you like to ask that question to?
Okay. Hold on just a moment.
I think maybe that was her. Hey.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
So, Marta, what do you think about that?
Wow.
Have you thought about it?
The first thing that came to mind as you were setting it up was this idea of, how will we do this? What will we do first? And this great book came to mind, and the title of it simply is The Answer to How is Yes. So I love that because it creates immediately, and maybe this answers the question, it creates this kind of what a teacher would call like zero gravity, where you're kind of suspended in this looking or this understanding. It's like, yeah, how would I do that? Or what would I do first? So maybe some of it would be reframing questions or changing or bringing up a phrase or a word that has already so much established definition to it, and bringing it up so that the group or a group or yourself in meditation or contemplation, you can kind of think through or feel through a different sense of what that might be. And so that's kind of where I would start, is just examining what's already there. Well, what's in the way, what's keeping people stuck in that particular energy, coagulated energy, maybe. That's, to me, that's what stuckness is, because for me, energy is all there is. So it's really transmuting the energy, changing it in and out of form. So for me, it's all malleable. And if I can start to just focus on one point and ask some questions and play around with the definition of it a little bit, it starts to open up another portal.
So do we need for everyone to do that as an individual, or do we need some kind of a service where we're saying we can provide a technique or something where you...
I'm going to stop that right there, Parmjit. Okay. So Marta, you can consider that for a moment. So Marta, I want you to take a moment and reflect on what you just said, what you had offered into the question circle. And I want you to come up with your own question, or you can ask the one that Parmjit just mentioned. Okay. And then you're going to ask that question to either myself or to Nefertiti.
Right. So that is a great question, Parmjit, and I'll offer it to back in this way. Does it start with the individual, or and does it start with the individual, or does it start somewhere else? I guess is really the question that I'm...
Great. And then you can pose that question to either myself or Nefertiti.
Nefertiti?
Does it start with the individual, or does it start somewhere else? Wow.
So let's clarify, what is it? Marta, what is it? You know, when you say,
Okay,
does
so
it start?
so how or what will we do next, or how do we begin the implementation
Okay,
process
okay,
of
got
an
it.
idea?
How
As-
does that energy get moved
Yes.
that need that stuff? Yeah.
In my, I say it happens both ways.
Mhm.
I say that the energy that's collaborated, I said it, I love that word, that description, it's very visual, that if we're able to have a person learn how to move it on their own through our services provided, they're still doing the work and it's still with the individual. But sometimes in my experience, like I don't know what I don't know. And that's why it's so helpful to come together and to, take a situation and pick it up and then turn it around and look at it from the left and look at it from the right and hear what other people are seeing in that situation. So I feel like the energy could be moved from the services we provide when people learn new information, when people get to learn about each other and get to know each other. And then it also, the energy is moved by the individual themselves being open and willing and, in the moment to change, or to just be. Because sometimes what I find myself doing is not necessarily a change, but it's just a more allowing of myself to just be. So maybe it's that shifting in the way I look at things. So.
So now take a moment, Nefertiti, be with your response, be with what you just said, form a new question, and you're going to ask that to me.
Well, my new question is how, like the house, how, how do you find the project that we have begun in this moment? How do you find that project being received?
How do I find it being received? Wow. Right now at this moment, I feel like the way it's being built at the moment, there's a lot of potential power. I think it's overwhelming at the moment. I think there's a lot of information, a lot of feeling, a lot of data, a lot of it's a lot. It's a big energy, and how I would like it to be presented and to be received, especially if this is the first offering, the first presentation that someone comes in contact with. I kind of see it being received as just like an open door. Okay, so now we've opened the door here. This is a door where there's so much creative possibility. To me, the infrastructure is already there. It's already set up. We just have to kind of come into the same place to recognize it, to kind of pool our resources and come together in the same place and have a common vision. So the way I see it received is being that open door. And now that the door is open, now that someone, the viewer here, has taken that first step to watch this and to listen to this and to become aware of these 6 principles of collaboration, are they going to walk through the door? Are they going to contact us? One of us. I'd like to be able to think that this presentation opens the door, to the watcher, to the listener who's never met either of the 4 of us. Will they take that brave step to contact us? So, it's a leap of faith. So I see it being received as, I kind of sense something is here. I feel I feel like this new world is coming in. I feel like this is the door to that. And I have to ask myself, am I ready for that? You know, am I willing to step through that door? Wow. Yeah. So that's what comes up for me as, you know, presenting,
Yes.
you know, presenting this. So now I'm going to sit with what I just said, come up with a new question, and I'm going to ask Parmjit the question. Parmjit, have you stepped through the door? And if so, what does it look like to you on that side? Or if not, what does it look like for you on the side that has not stepped through the door yet? Let me ask that first question. Have you stepped through the door?
I believe I have stepped through the door.
Okay. What's it like?
There's a lot of good intention and awareness of what is not right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of desire to collaborate and make it right. I guess it's like maybe moving on from an earlier conversation about kind of sound and music. It's like people are tuning their own kind of instruments up.
Yeah.
And we need to really find out how the orchestra is arranged and what the tune is. That's how it seems to me.
Okay.
And do we have all the right instruments we need? Is it balanced?
Great. So now I'm going to ask you to sit with all of these answers, you know, all this whole circle. And we're going to go back to your original question. And I want you to answer it, Parmjit. Just make it up. So the question was, how do we find the starting point to establish infrastructure? And I'm gonna put that question to you.
Thanks, Mike. So it's something about enabling people to deep dive within themselves. That's something that's clear. And it's something about what can they bring in terms of specialism, background. And then it's something about stepping outside. It's something about being aware of who's in the room and what instruments they play. And then it's about being aware of what's missing there.
What's missing? Yep.
Love that.
Great. So I'm going to break the fourth wall here, and I'm going to ask, you know, those, you know, who might be watching us for the first time. That's the question those are the questions we're going to pose to you. If you wish to step through that door and join us, you know, in our fellowships or you know, branches of fellowships, as it were, you know, would you be willing to have conversations like this with people you already are affiliated with or want a deeper connection with? Are you willing to do more of those deep dives? And I'm hoping that we're role modeling how to do that. Are you aware of what you bring? Are you aware of your specialization? If so, what is it? You know, please, you know, feel free to contact us and let us know what is that. You know, what have you become aware of just watching this presentation? You know, the four of us, what is it that we can do to support you, or what do we bring to the table that might be helpful? And also, I may ask, what is missing? As you watch this presentation and listen to this conversation, what is still missing for you? And that's something we would like to hear. You know, and those are some of the questions that I'm going to be thinking about, you know, throughout this week. And you know, to me, becoming aware of those questions, Parmjit, is a step forward, is another step forward. we have the map, we have the overview effect, but what is the next step? So, going back to our 6 principles, I'm hoping that this was an exercise in curiosity, coachability, because as we were listening and we were considering the question of the person before us, we had, by listening, we kind of had to step into the world of the other person and accept the belief system. I'm hoping there was mutuality. Everybody had a chance to listen. Everyone had a chance to speak. Everyone had a chance to ask a question. Everybody participated in this circle. Yeah, so those were the 3 big principles that came up for me, during the question circle. So there's definitely energy awareness too, but that's going to be very apparent in our 3rd exercise today. But yeah, so this is how we practice those 6 principles, and I'll review the 6 principles real quick, which are generous listening, committed speaking, mutuality, curiosity, coachability, and energy awareness. So for some people, maybe that might be the entry point, observing those 6 collaborative principles. So great. So I'm going to ask for a second check-in now. So the second question I like to ask is, how might we better support each other? So I just want to go around the circle real quick and ask everybody, either as a group, or if you want to ask an individual, for support, or if you want to ask somebody who might be watching this for the first time, what they might want to, how they might want to support, or how we can better support each other. I want to take a time to do that second check-in and see, what might be needed, what is missing. So, I'll start again, if that's okay. Does everyone mind if I start? I would like to ask, for whoever is watching this, for the first time, we're letting you into our circle. I really want to focus on that question. What is missing for you? So the way you could better support us, or how I'm asking for support is, what is missing for you? And I would like to ask you to vocalize that to me. And that is how I would like to ask for support and help us expand.
Well, I'll start first. Great conversation, and it's so in tune and aligned with some of the new work that I'm and content that I'm creating for collaborative innovation, which is really around I'm playing with the title "From Awareness to Action." And I think what's missing, you said it so beautifully, and it kind of hit me between the eyes, Parmjit, when you were metaphor or analogy, that like the orchestra. I'm like, oh, right, that's what's missing for me, at least, is coming up with these beautiful, simple analogies, metaphors. I guess it's like storytelling. For some people, it's demonstrating what we mean or what we're sensing in this 3D world, making it relatable, matching the vibration. We're talking about energy, and really, I guess for me, missing is continuing to practice these principles, not just talking about them, not just coming up with wonderful definitions for them, but actually this idea of bringing it to this very moment of life, what we're dealing with, looking at it from where am I being challenged, where am I being stuck, knowing that there is no true stuckness, that it's simply recognizing something, being aware of something, and then being willing to shape that energy into a form that is more pleasing and desirable to us, the community, for individually and for the community. So that to me is a few things, yeah, and the idea that this orchestra can make this beautiful music, we have so much potential bringing all these instruments and voices and energy together. What could we create? This idea of group creativity.
So, going back to the question, how might we better support each other? What I'm hearing is creating more opportunities for us to come together.
And just describing, I guess, what we're doing in these beautiful analogies, metaphors.
Okay.
Again, keeping it fun, keeping it creative, keeping it buoyant. So we're not making some, and that's the support that I need. That's what's missing for me, because I can make something very concrete very quickly.
Yes.
Give it a, and then do this, and then create tasks and activities, and it's like, oh, how about staying buoyant? Like, so that's the support that I guess that I would need, is helping me stay buoyant.
Okay, great. Helping you stay buoyant. Thank you. That's very clear.
Mhm.
I'm writing that down. Okay, thank you, Martha.
You're welcome.
So we have to the supporting piece. Oh man.
How might we better support each other is the question, yes. Or how do you envision us supporting each other?
I must say that this entire experience of being mindful of my time in and of itself has been such a huge shift for me. Like, just knowing that when I have been tracking my time and consciously aware of where I am at the moment and spending time and making choices as to what task I do and that sort of thing, it's allowed it to be more effective, efficient. I've been present. And so coming to these meetings every 2 weeks and using our online services, I feel it's I want to support to have it online, like more structured online, because I've been doing it on, my little notebooks and okay, how long did I go for a walk with Leo, and how long did I spend, reading this book, and how long did I do, having this meeting or conversation with this person. So now it's more of a having it be on the internet or our platform, so I'm really, really excited to have it shared and, just staying in the flow and realizing that every moment matters. That's really like, and when I meet with you guys and have the internet connection on our platform, that's very supporting, so.
That's great. Thank you, Nefertiti. What comes up for me hearing that is with Marta's strategy innovation group, and there's so many techies involved there. I wonder if there's someone who might have a program like that already in place, or might be working on a program like that.
That would be amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, shall I go next?
Yeah, the question is, how might we better support you, Parmjit? And you can ask that to an individual in this group, to the group as a whole, or to someone who might be watching for the first time.
I think that in terms of support, this group is very good because we all resonate at a similar kind of frequency, and it's uplifting. So that's fine as far as support goes, but it's something about then how do we systemize those kinds of things and help each other to find people who resonate at a soul level. It's like something around that, and we do need to think about kind of hard things like tools and platforms, as well as how do we build our values into the whole thing, really. That's probably a whole other conversation rather than something that is going to surface right now.
Absolutely. And as we go through the cycle, you're up to facilitate next week if you're willing to, Parmjit. If you want to facilitate a conversation around that, I'd love to invite you to to explore that with us.
Okay, I'll have a think about that. Thank you.
Great. Great. Yep. So what I'm hearing is support for facilitating more structure, facilitating more infrastructure, more tools, more of a platform, and how do we reach out to others, for establishing that platform. So that's what I'm hearing that you're asking for as far as support.
Yeah, I think some of the tools we've used today with the, structured questions and giving everybody a chance to think and move the conversation on,
Great.
something like that is very valuable.
Great.
Yeah, so that's good.
Looking forward to sharing this particular conversation as well too. And my hope is that as somebody is watching this and they're getting to know us, they'll watch some of the videos that each one of you as individuals presented, and it's kind of like that bridge, that door again. So, absolutely. And I would love to invite people into the conversation who can help us establish that platform. And I have a friend who I think can do that. I'm going to definitely share this presentation with him. Yeah, great. All right.